Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Whenever you're watching this video, I appreciate the support. My name is Joe Josh. I go by iChart Daily. Today's November 20th, 2023. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you every single piece of knowledge that I know about Bitcoin, Bitcoin's chart, every trend, and a window to my thought process on how it helps me paint pictures on where I think price action is going. So once again, this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion, just a couple hypotheticals. But I have been taught this process for almost 16 years now by my father, who was an options trader for almost 30 years, right? And the first thing he taught me was trust the charts and just forget all the rest of the noise. So what I do is I look at longer time frames first to clarify things. And the first thing that you need to know in regards to Bitcoin is the Bitcoin halving. The Bitcoin halving happens every 4 years. It happened here, May 2012, May 2016, May 2020, and it's coming close, May or April or March, depending on how many blocks are written, but right there. So you have this little window of opportunity to collect, once again, hypotheticals here, Bitcoin before it goes back to its all-time high. The reason why I say that is you could just point at this chart and say, when you bought Bitcoin here, you made this much money thereafter. Okay? When you bought Bitcoin here, you made this much money thereafter. When you bought Bitcoin here, or you bought Bitcoin here, this is how much money you made thereafter. Now, you don't have to listen to the news to justify what's going on with Bitcoin's price. You just say blue line goes up, blue line goes up, blue line goes up. Now, another trend that you have to understand is how much it goes up from the blue line. And each time is getting smaller and smaller each time. So this is just a simple IQ test. Do the math yourself. 21,000, 4,700. What's the next one going to be, right? If it's 300, 200, whatever the case may be. So, another trend that I've noticed, let's delete everything, is on a 2-week chart. You zoom in a little bit. On a 2-week chart, since 2017, I noticed that we had support here. We went up, came down, support, support. Trend line, you have 3 touch points. 1, 2, 3. I did not justify what was happening in the news, why I was accumulating more Bitcoin. I used that trend line. We then went from 3,000 to 14,000 and came down because of certain things that happened in the news and the world. And in 2020, while the world was crumbling apart, we were accumulating more Bitcoin at that beautiful white line. And this is what I mean by trusting the charts and not listening to the noise. Bitcoin then went from 5,000 to 70,000, 65,000, right? Hypotheticals. And it came back down. And on my previous channel, which I could justify it with my Discord now, and my Facebook channel, and my Facebook, is we said, regardless of what was happening with the markets here from June, like literally all of 2022, we had three target prices. Some traders use 6 to catch the bottom. I like to use 3. What I mean by that is if you could figure out where the price is going based off of ranges, then you just need to pick 2-3 target levels in that range in order to look like a genius. So I was mentioning to people that I potentially would have been buying more Bitcoin around 17.5, 15.5, and 13.5. Everyone was calling out single number target prices, 9,000, 12,000, this, that. That's not the right way to do it. What you want to do is you want to catch the bottom. And what you do to justify where that bottom could be is you look at multiple technical analysis views, right? You look at support, resistance, indicators, trend lines, moving averages, the whole nine. So we have one trend, which was the 2-week white line, and another trend that we were looking at was the RSI. The RSI is an indicator that tells you when your asset is extremely overbought, close to the 70 line. Obviously, if it's above, it's extremely overbought. And the 30 line down here is your extreme oversold. You have this 50 line, which is like your line in the sand, where if your waves are above, it's a continuation to the upside. As soon as you fall below, it's a continuation to the downside. So what I did was I start with a longer time frame chart first to see if there's any price action in the past. What I mean by that is, well, we went from 1200 to about 200, and the RSI went from 95 to 36. Over here, the RSI was at 36. We went from 250 to 20,000, came down, and the RSI went to around that 37, 36, right? It's a range. We went up to 14,000, came down because of certain things. We went to 40. All right, so 36, 37, 40. Okay. We have a range. We went from 3,700 to 5,000 to 67,000. And we came down. We said, all right, the 17.5, 15.5, 13.5, which lines up with previous resistance and support levels, line up with that white line and around that 35, 36, 37, 40 range. And what do you know? The RSI went all the way down to the 35 and then settled around the 37 and then had to break the 40, 43. So that lined up perfectly with 17.5, 15.5, 13.5, and that's what I mean by trust the charts and don't listen to any of the other noise and emotions that might be happening in the world. So because I trusted the charts on the way down, I'm going to trust it on the way up. And I'm not going to listen to anyone else's opinions on where they think Bitcoin is going. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the chart and see where it's at on the RSI to see if it's extremely overbought. And if it's at levels that we have seen resistance in the past. Now, another trend that I've noticed is on a weekly chart. The asset has used the 11 and 21 day moving average as support resistance during bull and bear markets. So now you line that up again. We were using it as resistance, 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 resistance. And right here was the exact moment that the 2-week chart golden crossed and we were testing that 50 line. This was the confirmation of a trend reversal on the longer time frames, 20,000. Now, we go into some technical analysis. Let's start drawing some trend lines and support resistance. Where we are right now, we're at a pivotal point. The first thing that stands out is this level right here. This level was key resistance that was turned back into resistance, turned into support, and now we're here. And once again, the first thing I'm going to turn to for advice is the RSI. I'm going to go to the weekly chart. I want to see where are we. And we're at the 74. We were a little bit above, but we're at the 74, and it looks like we have potential to come back down. So now because we're at that major resistance level, I'm trying to figure out where my risk reward is and how much room we have to grow and how much room we have to bleed. So if we were to grow and hit certain greed levels, you could see here there are some wicks right here, right in this box. And you can see how those wicks at that 40,282 was then used as support here, support here. So this is your greed level that I like to call it. That's how much room you have until you start seeing wicks. And you really don't want to buy into wicks, right? Because wicks shows selling pressure. You want to buy into wicks on the way down, showing buying pressure, right? Because right now, I like to swing trade. It's very easy, it's simple, and it's easy to teach you. Because what I say now could take 20, 30 days to play out, and allows you to understand what's happening in the chart before it actually happens. So now we're here. We're at the 74 above the 70 line on the RSI. It's not a great time, in my opinion, to accumulate your short-term to mid-term bags. Long-term, of course, great time to buy Bitcoin because you need to understand, once again, I started the video with the halvening, and you have to understand how close we are. And if we were to have, let's just say, one more dip down, coming back to 31,000, that is like your last hoorah, potentially. And then you have, if you were, once again, you have just back to the all-time high, 80% with a risk right now of 20 to 30%. The reason why I say that is that would line up with the white line. If, God forbid, something bad was to happen tomorrow, technical analysis meant nothing and we were at war, let's just say. So, what I look for, because we're at resistance and because we're at that greed level, I'm not necessarily touching Bitcoin. I'm letting it play out. I'm looking at alts instead to see what they might do and if there's more meat on the bone for a play. That's what I'm looking for as a play. So now the next support level that I see on the way down stands out like a sore thumb is this 32,000 right here. Let's change it to level 2. The reason why I say that is you just look left. That was key, support, key, support, key, support, turned into resistance. If this is going to be a continuation to the upside, technical analysis 101 is what was resistance will then turn into support. So I'm looking for a small pullback on the weekly, and the reason why I say this is every time the RSI was at the 70 or above, it was not the best time to accumulate more. This is not my opinion. I'm just an interpreter in the charts, right? We went up, we came down to the 50. We went up, we came down, back to the support line, back to the 50, back to around the 59, back to the 52. Even over here, right? We went all the way up and came down to the 53. So we're here, and we're at resistance. And the 50 will probably line up, like I said, with this level right around here. And when does that play out? Probably in a couple weeks, right? The reason why I say that, I'm watching the 2-day right now, and I'm watching, this looks like a potential extension to the upside. Once again, you're going to see major resistance at 40,000. I'd rather let this play out, see what happens, let this do this like this, stay flat, and then eventually come back down over here somewhere. And the reason why I say that is you can see, this level right here, 1, 2, 3. Right? We did this, we came up, we came down, now we're going up. Let that form its top, come back down to the 29 to the 32,000. That's the video, folks. Sometimes you got to let the tops form. What I mean by that is the same thing here, right? If you zoom into a 2-day. This one right here to right here. Yeah, it popped up, but eventually came back down, right? This one here and here. Yeah, it popped up, but eventually came back down. You got to trust the charts and understand what's going on. Now, I'll leave you with this. Long term, we look very, very, very good. On a monthly chart that has only happened once, twice, 3 times, we have a golden cross and we're above the 0 line, showing us that the next couple of monthly candles can print higher highs, right? I'm expecting just a small short consolidation, a higher low, which is a very bullish on a macro level, right? I don't think we're coming back down to here. I think we're just going to have a little consolidation like we had here, here, and here. But then macro level, I think we blow past this 40,000 and head to the 45 to the 47. So once again, bullish long term. This has only happened during bull runs. And the reason why I say that is because we have very little room left till the halvening. Where do we go after the halvening? I have to reassess the technical analysis then. I have my theories, but I'm trying to end the video here. That's my technical analysis. I'm not chasing green candles. I've never done in the past. I've waited for healthy consolidations and then some pullbacks. Once again, here you have your major support. We're bouncing above here. We're doing this. We came down. We came down. We came down. This is the key level right here because we did make a higher high, but we saw instant selling pressure at 37.9. So now we're having this higher low situation again. We're forming some bullish pressure, but the problem is when I turn on the indicators, we're going down and we're going down. So it's kind of bearish divergence, but it's not playing out yet. I want to see what it looks like when we hit this gray box, because we're kind of doing this right now. So we do have room to go past this into the 38.8. But because we're extremely overbought, I do think the long-term macro run is going to come to an end soon. Once again, this one took 1, 2, 3 weeks. This one took 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. We haven't topped out yet. I want to see it top out and then come back down. That's the video. Love you guys. Appreciate the support. The only thing I could ask for right now is just like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notifications. If you've ever shared my videos to people in the past, just do it again, because I don't know if they get the notifications for the new channel yet. But besides that, love you guys. Appreciate the support. Enjoy the day.